So welcome everyone. Welcome to our gentle Wednesday morning class. We're going to go ahead and begin in an easy pose this morning. And that may look a little different for everybody. I like to sit with my legs crossed. This isn't comfortable for everybody. You can try to sit like this and maybe support yourself with a blanket on either side of your hips. You can also sit like this and use a block to give yourself a little bit of height. Sometimes if you just sit on a block, that can make easy pose a lot more comfortable, and it takes the strain off of your hips. Another way to sit when we start out is to sit on your shins, and you can also sit on a block. You can just put the block here and sit on the block like this and just wrap your feet around. Just experiment, try these different poses, see which one is the best. Some people even like just to bring your feet out in front of them and sit with a tall spine like this. So go ahead and find what your easy pose is for you this morning. And let's go ahead and get into that, and then we'll start to center and connect our breath. So I'm going to give everybody just a little bit of time to get situated there. And I'm going to go back to my original easy pose. Okay, I think we're ready now. So sitting up with a nice tall spine, whichever pose you selected for your easy pose, let's go ahead and reach our shoulders up to our ears and just roll them back, creating some space in our chest so we can connect our breath. And go ahead and close your eyes. And right now, think of this as your time. This is the present. Let go of any to-do list that you have for later in the day, or what you're going to make for dinner, anything like that. Just let all that go. Let go of any noise and things that are going on in the world. And this is your gift for the next hour. This is your time. Let's begin to release all the tension we might be holding on to that we don't even realize we're holding on to, and connect our breath. So breathing in from the belly, up through the chest and collarbone, in through the back of your throat, and then exhale through your nose or pursed lips. And take another deep breath, just like that. Deep breath in from the belly. Sip in a little bit more air. And exhale through your nose or pursed lips. And as you're breathing, what you're going to find is that you're going to hear your breath in the back of your throat. If you're not hearing it in the back of your throat, visualize a little hand mirror that you're holding right underneath you. And on your exhale, think of fogging that mirror up with your nostrils. Let's try that. So deep breath in from the belly. Sip it a little more. Exhale through your nose. There, you start to hear it in the back of your throat. So try to just continue that breath, and you'll find that it will help your movements and your poses today during your practice. So let's go ahead and close our eyes. Breathing in, sipping in a little more air. Exhale out. Hearing that breath in the back of our throat. Keep breathing. Take another deep breath in. Sip in a little more. Exhale out. And as you continue that breath and hearing it in the back of your throat, think of a word. Maybe it's patience, kindness, gratitude, a word that means something to you. And the reason we're thinking of a word today is it's a nice thing to go back to during your practice if your mind starts to wander and you start to think about other things. You can always go back to your breath, or you can go back to your word, and then it just brings the mind right back. So let's take one more breath here. Deep breath in. Sip in a little more air. Exhale out. Already feeling better. Good. Let's go ahead and place our fingertips on the outside edges of our body. We're going to take some little stretches here. So on your inhale, reach your arms up towards the ceiling. spreading your fingers wide, arms are near the ears, and then on your exhale, bring your right elbow down to your mat and reach over your left arm to your left ear. And then inhale, we're going to do a little flow here. Reach up, exhale, fold on over. Inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold to the right. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, take that stretch to the left. One more. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, just bring your arms right back down by your side. Nice work. Let's go ahead once again, reach our shoulders up towards our ears, roll them back, creating that space. We might do that several times through the practice. It's just good to create that space. Let's go ahead and bring our hands out in front of us, spreading your fingers out wide, reaching in front. Maybe the right hand reaches a little further, and then the left hand reaches a little further. So there's a pane of glass you're trying to just touch right in front of you. And just take a few of those stretches. Nice work. You're still breathing. Go ahead and take your hands and just bring them to your shoulders. Bring your elbows up, and we're going to begin to make some little rotations, some circles. Breathing as we do this, and then reversing our circles in the opposite direction. Nice. And then on your next breath, take your hands, and you can just place them on your knees or even on your mat or the floor in front of you. And let's take a little stretch here. Bending your elbows, stretching, bringing your chest down towards your mat. And then gently press yourself back up again. We're going to start to stretch out and work the lower part of our body. So let's go ahead and lift up the right leg and just put it out in front. Lift up the left leg, put it out in front. And so we're in a seated forward fold position. We're not going to stay here, but I do want you to just observe where your toes are and make sure that they're pointing up towards the ceiling or perhaps even a little more towards your forehead. And feel that difference. Bring your toes, just go ahead and point the toes, and then just draw them up towards your forehead and notice that sensation and that difference in the feeling. Point your toes and then bring them up towards the forehead. And then bring them about neutral so they're facing the ceiling or slightly towards your forehead. And then on your next breath, let's go ahead and bend the right knee. And then we're just going to lift that right foot up and press it to the outside edge of the left. So we're in a little cross-angled position here, still sitting up with that nice tall spine. Take your opposite arm out, which is your left arm, and just wrap it around the right knee. And then take your right hand and just reach it behind you. Try to look over your right shoulder at the wall right behind you, getting in a nice stretch. This is really nice for the low back. Any sciatica pain or just any low back pain that you might be having, just getting that nice stretch in. And then exhale, come right back forward again. Before we lose this pose, let's take the left leg and just bend it very gently. You might want to press into your mat with the left hand and just bend that leg and sit up with a tall spine, fingertips out, sit up with a tall spine. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Let's go ahead and reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale. And this time, let's take a little twist. Reach your left arm right behind the right knee. Take that right hand, twist back behind. Look at that wall behind. And then inhale, arms come up. Exhale. Let's do it on the other side. Reaching the right elbow right outside the left knee, and then reach back with the left hand, noticing if sides are a little bit different. And then let's untangle all of this. Place your hands on either side. Go ahead and bring that left leg forward. Bring that right leg forward and left leg forward so you're back in your forward fold. Check on your toes again. Make sure your toes are facing the ceiling or maybe drawn up a little bit towards your face or forehead. We're going to work the other side. So your next breath, let's go ahead and bend the left leg. Just bend it, lift it up, and set that foot right outside the knee area of the right foot. And the same thing that we did on the other side, we're going to do on this side. So reaching out the right arm, reaching it around, and then take the left hand, press it down, and look at that wall behind you. Don't forget your toes. Don't forget to breathe. And then exhale, come right back around. And then once again, we're going to do that little additional stretch, just drawing that leg in. If you need a blanket to support that hip, feel free to pull that in. And then let's go ahead and reach up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, let's take our little fold in the opposite way. This time towards the left, looking at the back wall. And then inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, take your little crisscross stretch to the right. And then releasing this. You can remove the blanket if you like. And let's bring our legs out in front. Once again, checking your toes, sitting up with a nice tall spine. Let's go ahead and reach up towards the ceiling. Inhale. And then exhale, take a fold. Put a little bend in the knees if you need to. And making little wiggles. Maybe with your breath, you can even walk your fingertips a little closer towards your feet. And then exhale, come back up. Let's go ahead and bring our feet into a butterfly pose. Looking for that diamond shape, you can draw your feet out away from you, or you can draw them in a little closer, grabbing your ankles, sitting up nice and tall. We're just going to take a stretch here, feeling it in the low back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Let's stay for another breath. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. Nice work. Let's work one more thing before we move into our tabletop. We're going to just lift up our right shin, cradle it almost like it's a baby. This time the toes can flatten a little bit. The toes can still be up towards the ceiling, but the foot flattens a little bit. And try to get your shin as much as you can in the crook of your arm. And think of this like rocking a baby. And it just opens up the hip joints, loosens things up. We're just going to take some gentle rocks side to side, hearing that breath in the back of our throat. And then on your next breath, go ahead and lay that leg down. And we're going to take the other side. So taking your time here, grabbing hold of that leg. And then once you have it, noticing if this side is a little different from the right side, just begin to rock side to side. There shouldn't be any strain or tension here. It should feel good. So back off from it a little bit if there's any kind of tension at all there. You can bring it out a little bit, just making any kind of adjustments that feel good. As you rock side to side, breathing in, exhaling out. And then let's go ahead and lower that down. One more thing we're going to do in this position. Go ahead and take your hands and hold them up and draw your feet out. Think of almost the letter M here. And once you get into that position and make any adjustments that you need to make, let's go ahead and take the right hand, reach it back behind, fingers are facing the back wall pretty much, and then take the left hand, and once again, the fingers are facing the back wall. Try not to lean back too much, adjust it, maybe you're even on your fingertips here, and then we're going to begin to make a little bit of hip movement here. So take a deep breath in, and then exhale, let those legs fall to the right. And then inhale those legs up, exhale, they come to the left. Maybe the knees don't touch the floor. And just a little gentle movement there. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. And then when you get to the right side, draw this right foot up towards you. Take your left hand, place it on the top of your mat. Take the right hand, place that on the top of the mat, and then just draw your leg behind you, your left leg behind you. And if you look down, you'll see that you're actually in a pigeon pose. Pigeon pose is a difficult pose to get into sometimes, and this is an alternative, a more gentle way to get into that pose. And you can make any kind of adjustments that you need to. You can draw the foot in closer. You can rotate your spine and your waist a little bit. Let's try to come down onto our elbows while we're in this pose. Maybe you can even take it a little deeper with your breath, but just on our elbows is enough. And take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. One more breath here. Deep breath in. Exhale out. And then replace your elbows with your hands and just slowly walk yourself back up. And then just come back into that position where you have that almost that letter M with your legs. Hands can come up underneath. And then take your hands and release them and just place them back behind you. Fingertips can be placed facing that back wall. And we're going to work the other side. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. Let those knees fall to the left. Exhale up. Slow movements here. Right side. Breath brings the legs up. Inhale, legs come down. Come on up. Exhale, legs come down to the right. Inhale, up. And then on the left side, same thing as we did on the right side. Exhale, just bring those legs down. The left one is going to stay here while the right just works its way towards the back. And maybe the left knee comes in a little bit. Your comfort zone here. Maybe you sit on a blanket if that feels good to you. If one side needs a little more of a lift than the other side. And then just let's go ahead and just very gently rotate at the waist. Very gentle movements here. And then with your breath, come on down. Maybe you come down onto your elbows here. Maybe on this side, you're able to come down a little further with your breath. Allow your breath to take you where your body's able to go. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. One more. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. And then once again, just replace your hands with your elbows with your hands. And then just come out of this. You can come back to a bound angle. And we'll sit up with a tall spine here. Maybe even take a little variation of a cat-cow here. Let's do that. So grabbing hold of your ankles, go ahead and round your back, bring your elbows out, inhale, and then exhale, straighten your spine. Inhale, round back, exhale, and then let's go ahead and take our knees and just bring them back up. Take our hands, press them into the mat, let the knees come down, and let's very gently and gracefully make our way into a tabletop position. We're going to be doing a little bit of work here. So you might want to take your blanket, if you've got that handy, and just support your knees a little bit. A towel will work as well. So once you're in your tabletop, take a look at your fingertips. Make sure that they're making little permanent indentions into your mat. And this keeps the hands nice and active. We don't want dead hands here because it's really hard on our wrists. So just pressing into your fingertips, seeing your hands almost look like spider fingers will allow you to stay in some of these poses like tabletop and upward facing dog, downward facing dog a little bit longer. So let's go ahead and take some cat-cows while we're here. Breathing in for cow. Exhaling for cat, chin to your chest. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. We're going to do one more. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Nice work. On your next breath, go ahead and bring the right hand out, thumb facing the ceiling as though you're shaking someone's hand, and then reach that left foot back, toes are facing the floor. We're going to do a little exercise move here. You're going to touch your knee to your elbow on the inhale. So let's do that. Inhale, touch. Exhale, out. Inhale, touch. Exhale, out. One more just like this. Inhale, touch. Exhale, out. And then we're going to stay right here, a little bit of a balance pose. If you want a little bit more, reach back behind you and grab that back foot and draw it up towards the ceiling, making a little diamond shape, and try to hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice work. And then just bring the hand down, leave the foot up. We're going to work our glutes. So pressing your toe, pointed toe towards the ceiling, feeling that on your left side in the glute area. Take your gaze just to your mat and keep doing this, keep breathing. Let's do this for one more breath. Breath travels up the spine, breath travels down the spine, and then gently lower that leg. And let's take some hip circles here. So reaching your hips back towards your heels. Let's make this really active, really moving the spine along with the hips, almost as though you have a hula hoop. Maybe your shoulders are moving along with that movement. Slow, fluid movements. And then coming back up to neutral, let's reverse those circles. Reaching those hips back towards the heels. And making your way back towards the top into your neutral table. Let's go ahead and work that left side. So we're going to do our little touches, reaching that left hand out, reaching that right foot back, toes facing the floor. Go ahead and inhale, touch, elbow to knee, exhale, out. Inhale, touch, exhale, out. One more. Inhale, touch, exhale, out, and then stay here for your balance. Or reach back behind, grab that foot, lift it up towards the ceiling, and hold whichever you chose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're not quite finished yet. Go ahead and just place that left hand down. Toe stays up towards that ceiling. Let's work our glutes. Lifting, breathing here. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. Can you feel it in that right side? We're doing lots of work here. One more breath. Inhale, exhale, and then lower that leg right back down. Let's take a final cat-cow here. Breathing in. Exhale, draw that chin towards your chest. And then on your next breath, we're going to tuck our toes. And we're going to come into our first downward facing dog of the morning. Check your fingers before we do this and just make sure that they're making those little indentions into your mat. So go ahead and take your gaze to the back of your mat. Maybe look at your knees. And then on your next breath, just lift those knees up, eventually lifting the hips all the way up towards the ceiling, coming into your downward facing dog. And go ahead and bring one of your heels down, bending the opposite knee. And pedal out your calf muscles, just loosening up and getting everything ready for the work we're going to do ahead of us. Taking some breaths here. This is actually a resting pose. It may not feel like it, but it is a place that you just regroup. I'm going to move my blanket. And on your next breath, go ahead and look between your hands and bring that right leg between your hands, coming up into a warrior one position. And once you're there, reaching up for the ceiling, and your right toes are going to be facing the front wall. Your back toes, if you look back at them, are going to be facing about 11 o'clock if you were to look at a clock. Put a little bend into the knee. You can still see the big toe and the little toe if you move that knee side to side. Let's take a breath here. Inhale. Exhale. And then opening up through the chest, we're going to bring that right arm forward, bring that left arm back, coming towards the side. This is warrior two. Just opening up, taking your gaze right between your fingertips, looking at that side wall. And check to make sure that your knee hasn't moved out. Just bring it back to the center line. Inhale. Exhale. And then on your next breath, we're going to turn this into a side angle. So bending your right arm, reaching up with your left towards the ceiling. Try not to dump into your thigh. Maybe you can even lift up your right arm a little bit, but you can use it for some support here. And on your next breath, go ahead and turn this into an extended side angle, bringing that left arm as close to your left ear as you can get it to come. And you can stay here if you want a little bit more. Reach that bottom arm, the right arm out, opening up through the chest and trying to hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then wherever you are, go ahead and reach out, rotate at the waist, and then press those hands right back down into your mat. Send that right leg back behind you. And let's take a child's pose here. Just bringing the knees wide outside your mat, big toes to touch, and then pressing your hips back towards the heels. And you can go ahead and reach your hands a little further with your breath. Try to come down as low as you can go. Maybe your chest will touch your mat. Maybe your forehead will touch your mat and you can move your head gently side to side. Give that a try. Now, if your shoulders are tight, you can go ahead and just bring your arms back behind you, maybe touch your heels and take that pressure off. Your choice here. Let's stay here for another breath. Breath travels up the spine, and breath travels down the spine. And then let's all go ahead, wherever we are, bring our arms forward and press back into that tabletop, bringing our knees back underneath of us. Let's take a cat-cow here while we're at it. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Getting ready to do the left side. Let's go ahead and tuck our toes. Lift those hips up towards the ceiling. Take your gaze towards that back wall. You can pedal out here like you did on the right side. Staying for a few breaths. Normally we stay for about 3 breaths in a down dog. And then on your next breath, go ahead and raise the left leg, bend the knee, and just place it right between the palms. And I find sometimes I have to give it a little help. I just grab it with my left foot and place it right where I want it to go. Reaching up into your warrior one on your left side. I'm going to go ahead and turn just so you can see me. I don't like to have my back to you ever. Reaching up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, come right into your warrior two. And just check your alignment. Make sure that your knee is just right over your ankle, that you can see your big toe and your little toe. And just take your gaze right between your fingertips. Hearing your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Let's stay here for another breath. Inhale. Exhale. And let's turn this into a side angle, reaching up towards the ceiling, feeling a lift in the chest. Maybe you can even take your gaze to that right thumb. Nice. And then on your exhale, go ahead and turn this into an extended side angle, squeezing your bicep into your ear on your right side. Option here for that opening. Open up with both arms. If you're here, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then rotate at the waist, press down, and this time bring that right foot up to meet the left. You're up at the top of your mat. So let's go ahead, since you're up at the top of your mat, and just take a rag doll. Just let your head hang here. Put a little bend into the knees. Feet are about, you can put maybe a fist width in between them. And use this as a resting pose. Maybe your chest comes right down on top of your thighs. Lots of options here. The arms can just dangle. You can interlace the arms at the elbows. You can do a little bit of rocking side to side. Maybe even move your head. Shake it yes, or shake it no. Lots of different things. Another great option is to clasp your hands. Bring it to the back of your skull. Give yourself a little head massage. Really, really nice here. Staying for another breath, whichever option you chose. And then on the next breath, just let the arms dangle. Let's slowly come up, just one vertebra at a time, taking your time. No hurry here at all. And once you're completely up, take a look at your feet and bring them out about hip distance, standing with a tall spine. Let's go ahead and take a mountain pose, reaching up towards the ceiling, sweeping the arms up, spreading the fingers wide, lift all 10 toes, and just hold this, hearing your breath. And then exhale into Tadasana. Now, Tadasana seems like an easy pose, but we're going to make it a little challenging today. We're going to continue to lift all 10 toes, raise your shoulders up to your ears, and then roll them back open, creating that space. And imagine that there's a little string holding your head up from the ceiling. So we're working on our posture. Squeeze the belly in, lift the kneecaps, and activate all your muscles. Create a little bit of a fire inside of you. Maybe you're even getting a little hotter doing this. Squeezing the triceps and the arms, squeezing the thighs, squeezing every part of your body. Maybe you're shaking a little bit. Squeeze, 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 and then relax. Turn it all off. Notice the difference. Lower those toes, maybe even shake things out. Take a little wiggle here. Tadasana is such a good move. We're going to do some balance now. So if you're not already up against a wall, maybe go ahead and move off your mat towards the wall or a piece of furniture just to make sure you've got something to grab hold of if you need. And on your next breath, we're going to put all of our weight on our left foot and we're going to raise the right knee. That's all we're going to do. Just raise the right knee. Maybe you're holding onto the wall. Maybe you're holding onto a piece of furniture. If you're not sure what to do with your hands, if you're in the middle of the room, you just place them on your waist. And go ahead and activate that toe, the toes up. So the toes are facing that front wall. We're just going to hold this. And then we're going to move the leg up and down with our breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Nice. And then on your next breath, go ahead and bring the left arm out in front of you. Just hold it there, still balancing. And then you might want to stay here, or you might want to bring the right hand up. And then we're going to just rotate at the waist. And the goal here is to grab the right foot on the inside and just hold on to it. And maybe this is all you do. Maybe this is as far as you go. Maybe you take it a little further and you rotate the palm down on the left hand and lift up through that back leg into a dancer's pose. I'm going to come to the side so you can see what that looks like. So lifting up, bringing that torso down, extending that back leg into a dancer's pose. And then come on up. And then once you're up, let's all meet up in that mountain pose again. And if you need to shake out a leg, feel free. So once we come into our mountain pose, go ahead and bring the feet right outside about hip distance, and let's reach up for the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, Tadasana. Let's turn on Tadasana again. Just squeeze all your muscles, squeeze, lift all 10 toes, lift the kneecaps, squeeze the thighs, squeeze the arms. You feel those triceps turning on, squeeze the belly, and then just let it all go. Just relax. Shake out anything you need to shake out. And we're going to do the opposite side. So we're going to put all of our weight this time into the right side, grounding in all 4 corners of our feet into the mat. And hold on to the wall, hold on to that piece of furniture, and just lift the left knee. Take your hand, you can put it on there, and you can either have your hand on your waist, or you can extend it out, or you have it on that piece of furniture, and your toes are going to face that wall in front of you. You can also not even hold on to the knee. And let's make those little lifts with our breath. Lifting up. Working our balance. Taking our gaze to a spot on the wall in front of you, maybe the floor in front of you. And then from here, we're going to turn that into a dancer's pose. So go ahead with the right arm, reach it out in front of you. Maybe you just stay here. Maybe this is dancers, and that's okay. Take your left hand if you want a little bit more, and reach back for that foot. And come forward, coming into your dancers. And I'm going to turn to the side so you can get a better look at what that looks like. Then again, just listen to my voice if you prefer. And express your dancer's pose, taking your gaze to a spot for better balance versus watching the screen. Holding that, whatever that might be. And then eventually releasing that. Let's come back into our mountain pose. Keeping your feet about hip distance, reaching up for the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, take that Tadasana again. Turn everything on, just ignite it. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze your shoulder blades back to meet one another, opening up through the chest. Your posture is going to look very military-ish. It's going to look very nice. And then just let it go. Let's go ahead and take another mountain pose. Sweeping your arms up towards the ceiling. Go ahead and bring your palms together and then bring them down to our heart center. And let's go ahead and close our eyes here. Check in with our breath. Make sure we're hearing it in the back of our throat. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. Let's do one more just like that. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. Nice work. Great time to think of your intention too if your mind has started to wander. Let's go ahead and reverse swan dive, bringing our arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, take a fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Back is just as flat as you could get it. You could put a glass of water and it wouldn't spill on your back. Exhale, press your palms back down onto your mat. Come back onto your knees. Grab your blanket if you need. Placing that for protection as you come back onto your knees. And let's take another breath here. Inhale. Exhale. And then on your next breath, go ahead and tuck your toes. We're going to sit back, sitting up with a nice tall spine. And we're sitting on our toes, so make sure your baby toes are getting the action. You might have to adjust them with your fingertips. And while we're here, let's bring our hands to a fist and just rotate those wrists. We're working on plantar fasciitis right now, and any kind of foot problems you might have. We're not going to stay here long because I know it's uncomfortable. Let's just stay for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go ahead and spread your fingers out wide. Lean forward, press your palms into your mat, back into a table, and untuck your toes, and just give your feet a little bit of paddle out. And then on your next breath, sit on your heels. We're stretching out our ankles here. And if you want to, you can rotate your wrists a little bit, taking this opportunity. And we're going to stay here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Nice work. From here, let's go ahead and just lift up onto our knees. Make sure that your blanket is comfortable. You may have to adjust it. We're going to be on our knees for just a little while. Go ahead and take your hands and place them at your low back, right at your sacrum area. We're going to come into a camel pose here. So before we do anything, we're going to check in with our breath. So take a deep breath in, and then on the exhale, come on back. Just look at the ceiling. See if you can find anything to stare at up at the ceiling. Inhale, and then exhale, come on right back up again. And we're going to do one more just like that. So taking a deep breath in our neutral position. Exhale, come on back. Take a look at the ceiling. And then on your next breath, come right back on up. Very nice. This is great for any kind of bladder issues. Just really good for that whole area. We're going to go ahead and just make our way down very gracefully onto our backs. Swinging your legs around. And let's make this active coming onto our backs. Let's bring our legs out in front of us, toes facing the ceiling, sitting up with that nice tall spine. Go ahead and bring your hands out, thumbs facing the ceiling, and we're going to just slowly, slowly, slowly start to come back. And maybe we stop and take a breath. And then maybe we keep going back and stop and take a breath. A little bit of abdominal work. And if you get to the point where you need to take it a little easier, just bring your elbows down and slowly work your way until you're all the way down to your mat on the ground. And once you're here, we're just going to take a little time to bring some awareness to our low back. Take your hands and slide them underneath that little area, the sacrum area, the lumbar area, where there's a little space. And if you feel that space, we want to fill that up. So remove your hands and just press with your muscles, just press into your mat. And it may be easier to do if you bend your knees. So bring your knees, just plant your feet into your mat, bring your knees together, and just press into that low part of your back. Hearing your breath in the back of your throat as you're doing this. And then on your next breath, knock your knees together and heel toe your feet out. Maybe they come all the way to the floor on the outside of your mat. Maybe not quite that far. Maybe they're still on the mat themselves. And let's take a deep breath here. Exhale out. Just feeling that nice, nice relief in the low back. And then let's go ahead and heel toe our feet back together. And go ahead and reach and see if you can feel your heels. If you can't, you might want to just scooch with your toes, your feet a little closer to you. We're going to take a bridge pose here. So reach for your heels. Can you feel them? There they are. And then let's go ahead and clasp our hands and just bring them right underneath our hip area. Maybe squeeze our shoulder blades underneath us and bring your palms together. Bring your knees and your thighs together. You can even put a block in between, but I didn't prepare you for that, so let's not even worry about the block right now. On your next breath, let's go ahead and reach your hips up towards the ceiling. Maybe your breath will allow you to take them a little higher up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, come right back on down and release your hands on to your sides of your body. Let's go ahead and take some little windshield wipe moves here. You can take your hands and place them on your thighs if you wish to. And we're just going to bring our knees side to side. Just some very gentle movements here. Side to side. Inhale. Exhale. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. And then from here, go ahead and bring the soles of your feet together. Just press them together. We're in a reclined butterfly. Your hands could still be on your thighs, and you can give a little gentle push your knees and your thighs towards the mat. Very, very gentle here. We don't want to cause any strain, any stress on the muscles. It's still very safe pose though. And let's take a deep breath in. Deep exhale out. And then go ahead and just take your hands and draw your knees back together. Let's go ahead and bring our knees into our chest. Give ourselves a little hug. Maybe give a little rock side to side. Just feeling that low back. Getting a little massage. And then on your next breath, let's turn this into a happy baby, just reaching the feet up towards the ceiling, toes are facing that back wall. Maybe you grab the big toe and the second toe. If that's uncomfortable for you, you can always grab the outside edges of your feet and make some little circles into your mat, making sure that you rotate those circles to the other side, the other direction. Have a little bit of fun with this pose. If you want to, you can straighten your right leg and bend the left leg a little bit deeper. See how that feels. And then just switch sides. Continuing to make any kind of movement. Visualizing a happy baby as you're doing it. And then on your next breath, go ahead and bring your legs up into a waterfall position. Drawing your toes towards your forehead. You can support your legs if you like. You can hold onto them. We're just going to hold this for another breath. Very, very, very good posture. Pose. Lowers blood pressure, improves circulation. And then on your next breath, bend the left leg only. And just set that up into a reverse pigeon. It almost looks like an upside down number 4. Your left ankle is going to go right above the right knee. And just take a little look. Make sure your toes on the right side are coming down towards your forehead. Feel the difference if they're not. Just bring them down and just notice how you feel that up and down the back of the leg. So good for sciatica pain. And then take your hands and reach them through. Clasp them together and just pull that leg on the right side towards you. Maybe make some little gentle rocks side to side. Now, if this is hard on your joints, you can always try a variation and bend their right leg. Just see which feels the best. Try it out on both sides. And then switch to the left side. Just set that up on the left side. Reach through, pull that left leg forward. If you ever want a little more in this position, you can always just take that opposite elbow and press it into the bent knee. In the case on the left side, it would be your right arm pressing into your right thigh. Give that a try. And make those little side movements side to side. Hearing your breath in the back of your throat. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. Nice work. And then releasing that, we're going to do one more stretch here. Coming back up into a waterfall. Bring that right leg forward just a bit and cross it over the left. Knees are actually on top of each other. Your legs almost look like an X. And then bend at the knees and try to grab your feet for a shoestring. pull your feet towards you. And if you want a little more here, you can actually interlace your fingers between your toes, almost like a little pedicure style movement here. And if you're doing this, then you can squeeze the tops of your feet. It's really nice, nice little foot massage going there. Just an option. If you have sensitive toes, you can just grab your feet and give a nice little tug, nice little pull. And then on your next breath, switch sides. Just bring those feet right back up to waterfall. Draw those toes in. Bring the left foot forward. Cross it over into that nice X. Bend at the knees and grab those feet and give a nice little pull. Nice little tug. And you can be still here, or you can rock gently side to side. One more breath here. And then on your next breath, go ahead and just relax your head if it's not already relaxed, and just allow your knees to hover right over your hips, bringing your arms out into a T. You can cactus your arms if that feels better. We're going to take a supine twist here. So let's take a deep breath in from the belly. Inhale, sip in a little more, and then exhale. Maybe a lion's breath out. Maybe through your mouth. Let's do one more just like that. Deep breath in. And then on your exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Just allow those knees for supine twist to fall to the floor. You can put a blanket underneath if you need. You can extend an outside leg if you like. And just enjoy this. Take your gaze over your left shoulder. Make sure your shoulders are glued to your mat to get the full benefit. And just hear your breath here and just stay. Allow yourself to be still. Breath travels up the spine, and breath travels down the spine. Breath travels up the spine, and breath travels down the spine. One more just like that. Breath travels up the spine, breath travels down the spine. And let's go ahead and draw those knees back up just to hover and take a lion's breath here. So deep breath in from the belly. Sip in a little more. Exhale through your mouth. Don't be afraid to make a little breath noise. And then take another deep breath in. This time exhale, allowing the knees to come to the left side. Take your gaze over the right shoulder. And once again, whatever you did on the right side, go ahead and set that up on the left side. If you extended a leg out to deepen that stretch, go ahead and give that a try. Remembering sides are different, so if you want to try something different on this side, feel free. Gluing your shoulders to the mat. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. Breath travels up the spine. Breath travels down the spine. And then go ahead and inhale those knees right back up to hover and press the feet together and slowly lower the feet down to the mat. Drawing the arms in towards your body, palms facing the ceiling, and then release your feet wide outside your mat. We're setting up for Savasana. So just lying in Savasana, closing your eyes, letting everything go, melting into your mat. Let's do a little body scan here. Just release any tension you might be holding in your face. Relax through the jaw. If your teeth are clenched, move the jawbone side to side. If your tongue is stuck to the roof of your mouth, just let it drop into the lower palate. Relax through your shoulders. Relax all the way through down to your hips, and just let go of any residual tension, any strain in your knees, melting all the way in to your mat. Hearing your breath, allowing for stillness, just staying. We're going to stay here for 4 breaths. And just continuing with your breath in Savasana. Take another deep breath from the belly, up through the collarbone, in through the back of your throat. Exhale out. Melting even further and deeper into your mat. And on your next breath, slowly, very, very gently begin to awaken the body. Maybe you wiggle your fingers. Maybe wiggle your toes, just bringing in a little bit of movement, very gently and slowly. No rush. And on your next breath, go ahead and bring some movement into your wrists and your ankles, maybe rotating them into little circles. And if you're rotating them, not making sure to rotate them in the other direction, just very, very gradually, very slowly and gently. And then on your next breath, you can draw your feet up, pressing them into the mat, bending the knees, swishing those knees side to side, windshield wiping. Slow, fluid movement. Maybe the hips move along with. And then on your next breath, go ahead and bring your feet back down to the mat. Reach with your fingertips to the wall behind you. Reach with your toes towards the wall in front of you. And let's turn everything back on like we did in Tadasana, squeezing all your muscles, your face, your arms, your abs, your thighs, all the way to your toes, your calves, feel it. Maybe you're shaking. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then just release that and melt right back into your mat, arms by your side, and roll over to your right side. Make a little pillow with your right arm. Take a deep breath in. Deep exhale out. One more, just like that. Deep breath in. Deep exhale out. And then very gently, very slowly press yourself up back into a comfortable seated position, whatever that might look like for you. Sitting with a nice tall spine once we all get there. And once we are all there, let's go ahead and reach our shoulders up towards our ears, roll them back open, and place your hands on the outside of your body. Let's take a final stretch here, reaching up towards the ceiling, clasping your hands together, drawing them down to your heart center. Thank you so much for joining me on this Wednesday morning for Gentle. Hope you feel great. Namaste.